Garten of Banban, the indie horror game that's been taking the internet by storm. You've probably seen it before, and if you haven't, you've seen this bird, because it's seen you. Garten of Banban is what's called a mascot horror game, led by the likes of Bendy, Poppy, Choo Choo Charles, Freddy. All of these games take friendly childhood characters and situations and turn them into demonic nightmares. I could talk for days about how your childhood being corrupted is a popular idea in horror right now, but I'll save that for another video. Garten of Banban attempts to do the same, taking you to an abandoned daycare where you have to run from giant mascot characters made of Play-Doh. While the idea itself isn't super original, I don't see a problem with it. If you have some good ideas for character design and story, there's some really interesting things you could do with this genre. But what a lot of people are upset about with Garten of Banban is the character design, lack of gameplay, and overall quality of the game, calling it low effort. But let's face it, the first game can be beaten in under 5 minutes without any major glitches, and only 2 months after they released the first game, they released the second. Now this video is not an attack on the creators whatsoever. In fact, I've talked with them a few times and they seem pretty chill. Hi guys. In fact, I think Garten of Banban 2 was a major step up from Garten of Banban 1. Ideally, the Euphoric Brothers, the developers of the game, will be able to take criticism from the first 2 chapters and continue to get better. Hopefully by chapter 4 or 5, we're looking at a beautiful game. That being said, there's been a lot of drama about the game lately, calling out content creators, arguments on if people should be able to refund their game, and questionable games they've made in their past. But I'm not here to talk about the drama. All of that comes from the idea that people think the game is low effort, that it's easy to just slap it together. Today, we're gonna test that. Is it possible to remake the first Garten of Banban game in under a week? Now to make this challenge a little bit harder, I selected someone with zero, and I mean zero, game development experience.
Please welcome our special guest.
Me. It's me. So let's set some ground rules. In 1 week, I have to make a horror game based on the original Garten of Banban, taking you from the entrance to the game to a short encounter with Jumbo Josh, this big green guy. In this process, I have to teach myself coding with blueprints, level layout and design, basically every single thing that has to do with game design. This will primarily be learned all through free YouTube tutorials online. I didn't gather a list of the tutorials I watched as I did this, but shout out to everyone that makes Unreal tutorials. You guys are insane. One important factor of this is if you look at the credits for the first Garten of Banban, you're going to find that the majority of the assets and models used for the game were actually downloaded from a website called Sketchfab. This is perfectly legal and valid in game development, but we're going to play by the exact same rules. Anything that I can get a license to for commercial use, be it paid or free, from Sketchfab can be used in my game as long as it's credited in the credits menu. This helps out a lot so that I'm not learning Blender the entire week, because honestly, 3D modeling is an art form in itself. But with that aside, I started everything out late Saturday night. I was watching the Streamer Awards on one monitor when I decided, hey, I kind of want to learn Unreal Engine. One tutorial about level design that I was like half paying attention to while watching the Streamer Awards, and I had this screenshot of a theoretical remake of the game. I posted this work on Twitter just for funsies, asking what would the game look like if it had this level of detail throughout the entire thing, to which Twitter replied with, okay, you do it. I woke up the next morning to the tweet blowing up, and I made the decision that I was going to spend that Sunday till the next Sunday solely working on the game. Which, yes, does mean that I spent my entire spring break in my junior year of college making the Funny Bird game. Right off the bat, I knew I wanted to put my own spin on the game. One thing that really bugged me in the base game were these murals that they had on the wall. It's pretty common to see like character and like phrase vinyl or like painted lettering up on walls of like schools and stuff. But something about like the reuse of these basic character renders and the way they're scaled up, and also just like the out of place weird like text bubbles that are everywhere, it just wasn't my vibe when I was playing through the game. So we decided to switch those to actual painted murals and posters. During this time, we also decided to redesign some of the characters that you see in this chapter. And while I am studying graphic design, character drawing isn't really my thing. So I got my friend Pincer to do some redesigns of the characters, and we kind of talked through stuff, and they came up with some really cool renders. I tossed those onto posters that I designed, and honestly, they turned out pretty cool. Like I said, we redesigned some of the characters, because our mentality was if you're gonna have these mascots in like a children's area, they probably shouldn't look like eldritch horrors. And we also thought it'd be kind of cool if they all had a purpose outside of just existing to entertain the kids. So with Jumbo Josh, we had him become this like chef character that promotes healthy healthy eating. In the original game, he talks about eating fruits and veggies to grow big and strong like him, bruh. So we thought it would be fitting to make him a chef and, promote healthy eating. Then with Opila, we decided to make her into this fun pink bird who would promote getting a healthy amount of sleep, 8 hours a night, which I definitely did not get making this video. This all stems from the idea that if we theoretically would do chapter 2, the whole area with the baby chicks would be turned into a kind of nursery and she'd be in charge of that. But with the first chapter, it's more about getting enough sleep to be able to play all day. While we were working on these redesigns, I continued to build up the lobby. I did my best to recreate the look of the original game while putting my own spin on it. One thing that I thought would be cool is to have this little outdoor scene at the front entrance. I think it really adds some depth and really shows that this is an actual building and not just some void that you're running around in. On top of that, I really liked the lighting that came through. I think it really set up the scene very well. Speaking about lighting, one thing I noticed with the original game is that it's all super brightly lit. I decided for our version we would go for more of a horror aspect, really allowing for more darkness and even some pitch black areas in the game. But if you're gonna have pitch black areas, you need a way for the player to be able to navigate that. So one of the first things I coded in was a flashlight. Now there's a lot of little things about game development that you don't think about until you try to make your first game. It's not as simple as add flashlight to player. It's a lot of boring stuff that you probably don't care about. But that's what this entire project was, just trying to figure out how to do stuff, watching countless YouTube tutorials. And by the end, I was able to do a lot of this stuff without Googling it and just kind of figuring it out myself. Now you may say, Mason, why is the flashlight in the left hand? Shouldn't the item be in the right hand? I got you. So in the original plan of the game, we were going to fully remake it with the drone mechanic. And if you guys know from the original game, the remote controller for the drone is actually in your right hand. So the idea is that you'd have your left hand for the flashlight, right hand for the drone controller to move the drone around. But like I said, this is my first time really ever coding. So within a week period, there wasn't a shot that I was going to get the drone mechanic up and working the way it should. So I kind of just wrote it out of the game. The drone is still in the game. It's just in a closet with a note next to it saying that it's down for repair. And a lot of the buttons are still in their original spot in the game. They're just not functional. I set this all up so that this video does well and I have enough requests to go ahead and expand the game into new chapters or remake this first chapter entirely. I could spend a couple weeks getting the drone mechanic to work properly. But for now, players are just going to move around with keys and key cards. Stop! Beyond this point and this classroom, I do a lot of redesigning. There's a lot of stuff that isn't in the original game or is changed. So if you guys don't want to get spoiled for any of the new stuff, either check out the game with the link in the description, assuming it hasn't been taken down, or check out my no commentary playthrough of it, which I'll also link in the description. Everyone good? Okay.
The playground!
So in the original game, I know what they're going for with the whole look of this playground. It's supposed to have these big, rubber plastic things that kids can climb on. I remember playing on that kind of stuff as a kid. But as I was doing some research into more liminal and creepy spaces, I kind of got settled and I had this vivid memory of the play sets that you'd see at McDonald's back in the day. They'd have these big pipes and you'd have to crawl through them. And honestly, they kind of scared me at times. I don't know if I'm claustrophobic and I just don't know, but something about being in there and a kid comes up behind you, it's scary. So I decided to have my version of the playground focus more on that. I of course did make a rough recreation of the wooden playground that they have in the base game, but I added all of these 3D pipes around the map to give the illusion that it's this massive play area that kids can kind of crawl through and go to different parts of the facility in. I also stacked a bunch of the pipes in this corner where Opila normally is, but we'll get into that in a minute. Whenever I was developing the game, I was talking to some friends about some stuff that they've seen in horror games, and we kind of came to the conclusion that some of the scariest moments in horror is when you're in a confined space and you don't know what else is in there. So I decided to implement a crouch mechanic, which wasn't in the base game, which would allow us to guide the player into the pipes and go into different rooms looking for the eggs for the egg minigame. Is Opila in here? Oh, scary bird. Something about the darkness and having to navigate this area with just your flashlight, and then something about this weird lighting. It's all really creepy, and I'm very happy with how it came out in such a short amount of time. With all this laid out, I worked on the egg minigame, which I'm not going to go into the details of it, but basically instead of dumping the eggs into Opila's mouth like in the base game, I just let the players put the eggs in a basket because that seems a little bit less strange. Once you collect all 6 eggs, a vent opens to the right, which allows you to open up this door in the classroom. I of course added a ton of extra details in this area as well, so if you guys played the game, do me a favor and check out some of the signage. I had a lot of fun making it. But if I'm being honest, there was something missing from this area. Sure, it was all friendly and nice and then got scarier once you got into the tubes, but it felt lifeless. So I hit up my friend Seek to help me compose some music for this area. Within a day, they had this really cute little theme similar to the daycare center from Security Breach, and whoo, it was a banger. So I just set that up so that you can hear it whenever you're in the area, and then whenever you walk out of that room, it fades away the farther you get. Very nice. Let's get back to that key card you got from the egg mini game. Obviously, that's going to unlock the door in here, and normally in the game, you can find a hammer that lets you take down some planks of wood, but I got a little bit spicy, a little bit creative. My brain was so massive, I changed it to a screwdriver. Very nice. But you can now use this screwdriver to unlock vents, which means, yes, you're going to be crawling through vent shafts. So once you crawl through the vent shaft, you're going to fall into the new ball pit area, which in the original game, I thought was a little bit strange. I mean, right here, it says ball pit, but then you get here and it's just a deep void. And there's no like lore explanation as to why there's nothing in the ball pit. It's just an endless deep pit. This thing's scarier than the TwitchCon foam pit. Why is it in a kindergarten? At the same time though, I feel like it's an iconic part of the original game, so I think I came up with a solution for this. What if this area was a new expansion to the main play area? So I added a ton of scaffolding, a ton of boxes laying around, make it look like it's a work in progress construction project. I also made sure to add a bunch of the tubes from the original playroom so that it looks like you could crawl from the original to this one. And honestly, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. Now, normally this is where the Opila chase sequence happens, but I kind of wanted to change it up in my version. So for now, we've added platforms similar to the parkour section of the second game. I know, everyone's favorite part, but the idea is that once the pit's filled up with balls, kids will be able to jump on and off those platforms, play around on them. So they kind of make sense in this context instead of just, floating in the second game. Oh yeah, I also made my first cutscene in this room. Dude, get me on the next Call of Duty! On the other side of the pit, there's another vent that you have to crawl through, hiding under some scaffolding, and this will take you to the final segment of the game. For our chase sequence, I had this idea of running down a bunch of halls in a school running from Opila, but because we're working on a strict deadline, I decided to make a quick maze using a bunch of walls and posters, and yeah, that looks like the back rooms. Not intended. I promise you, not intended. You're not running around the back rooms. But again, if this video does well, I'd love to do an update to the game where I actually flesh out this section instead of making it look like the back rooms. Now that we got the whole map laid out, let's talk about the part that you guys care about, the characters. I've already showed you the redesigns for Jumbo Josh and Opila, but unless you're scared of furries, these things aren't going to be scaring you. So we did a lot of brainstorming on how we can make these characters look scary. And in the lore of the first game, it actually takes place in 2016. And originally, I was just going to follow the same plot. But what if something bad happened in 2016? What if the entire facility was left abandoned in 2016 and the events of my game happened in 2023? This would mean that there would be 7 years between when the building shut down and when you're actually playing the game. So what if these little science experiments that were helping the kids and looking pretty were left alone in a facility with no food, scavenging for 7 years? Poor Jumbo Josh would be left in a dark room for 7 years. His body would begin melting away and deteriorating, but because he's not a natural life form, he can't die. So we redesigned him to quite literally have his face melting off, which is kind of terrifying. Then our pretty bird Opila. Of course, she's running around the top floor scavenging, looking for anything to eat. And similar to the original game, we love the idea that she's stalking her prey. So throughout the entire game, you'll find her kind of lurking around corners and trying to hide from you until she finally snaps and is ready to eat your flesh. Because of this, she appears a lot more unlively, starving, bruises all over her body, blood on her beak. Yeah, she's kind of terrifying. We sent these designs over to my friend Slushy, and within a couple of days, we had fully working, rigged, and animated models. And I thought the best way to get these guys into the environment would start with the first appearance of Opila from the original game. In the original, whenever you walk up to this corner, she kind of just loops around. And I thought this would be the perfect starting place to test if I could code something like this, and yeah, it works. Something about being in the darkness and shining a flashlight on this thing makes it so terrifying. I use this technique of having her be around a corner and then turn to hide from you a couple times in this chapter. I won't spoil them all, but I think it's pretty successful. The other time that we used Opila was at the end of the game during the chase sequence, and I had to code up a pretty basic AI. I won't go into the details of it, but basically she just finds the player and chases her around the maze. It works. Slushy made an awesome run animation for it, so it works fine. Then with Jumbo Josh, of course in the base game, you only see him for a couple of seconds whenever he goes to push over your elevator for some reason, which ends up crushing him in the second second game, so like good move, bro. So we decided at the end of the chase sequence, you're gonna fall through the floor while trying to escape, and down there in the pit with you is Jumbo Josh. Now there's probably 100 more things I did for this project, from the little notifications in the corner to guide the player, to opening up notes, to making those notes and writing them all out. The list goes on and on forever, but for the sake of this video, I decided to invite a couple of friends on to show you guys how the game works.
It already looks better than the original Banban menu.
Garten of Banban.
Here we go. All right.
Thanks to the guy that made the 90s computer. Thanks to the guy that made
I gotta go through each one.
Whoa, the lighting is so good.
Huh. That really like makes it look eerie, I'd say.
Okay, I like the art. I love the art. Eat fruits and veggies to grow strong. Oh man.
Yeah, did you make all this art?
The majority of it, yeah. The two posters there, the drawings on there, I had a friend do just for time because they're better character artists than me, but I did the posters, yeah.
Very impressive. And it actually looks like a scary kindergarten, not just actually a kindergarten.
This is me when I'm
Barely see over here. Maybe I get a flashlight. I do get a flashlight. Is that a flashlight? Maybe can I? Oh, okay. Yep. There we go. Oh, it's a terribly weak flashlight. Perfect for a horror game. Oh, a little cardboard cutout. I love it. It's adorable.
the tiles really make it feel like a backrooms kind of thing.
There's a kitchen back here. It actually makes sense. Holy. Okay.
Holy shit, the bird. Okay, that is way scarier than natural.
I'm pretty happy with that design.
Oh, dude. The model is like so good. It's actually terrifying.
Oh, hello. It's a pillow bird. Oh, hello there. Sharing is caring. Your pancreas is mine.
Hey chicks, welcome to my nest.
Whee! Oh my gosh, I love this. Oh, this is great. This is so cute. Oh my gosh. Surprise. Oh, you can actually see them. Holy, already improvements. Wait, can we go in here? Oh. Oh, sick, dude. Where are we going?
Oh shit.
Yeah, this is a new area. I had a buddy.
So much more gameplay.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
I mean, the fact that there's this room at all.
True.
Because I actually did a few runs with the first chapter. Like, when I first played it, I then played it for another hour and a half to get, like, I don't know what I had, like a 4:30. This section alone would force it to be longer than the original chapter.
Yeah.
You see, this is what happens when you actually put time and effort into a game. Crazy, right? And this was made in 1 week by someone with no game dev experience, which already speaks volumes.
Okay, that is fucking creepy. That is real ominous. Hi! Okay, yeah. You ever thought of, you know, serious game dev? Because that was good.
Oh, what's this? Oh, bird!
Oh my god. Okay, I like that too.
Let's take a look-see over here. Are those eyes? Okay, I think those are eyes. I should turn around. Oh, we're good. Never mind. We're gonna keep going. Pretty bird, 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 pretty bird.
Okay. Nope. Screwdriver for the vent. Yes, thank you, prompt in the corner.
Bird, pretty 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 bird.
Oh my god, I can't see. Oh, shit. Wow. Wow, this is very much a recreation. I thought you just like switched out some textures. This is a whole other game. Yeah, and I like it because it maintains a lot more of the playful kindergartenness than like their game is just like here's a chasm.
Yeah.
And these weird platforms that come out of the ground, but like this is actually like if I was a kid, I'd love this, you know?
Right,
Choo-choo,
right.
motherfuckers. But it's also chilling.
Pretty bird, pretty bird, pretty bird.
I didn't even notice these.
This is so much more interesting than the first game, the original game. This is like so much. There's so much more to this. I love this. Uh-oh. Oh, we fell into the back rooms. Oh. Oh, we fell into the back rooms. What is this? This is the back rooms. Oh. Insert lore here. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Oh my god. That is still, like, actually terrifying.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Nice.
This way. Okay. Run. All right, we're running. We're doing this. We're going. Who are you? No idea. Who are you?
Slow.
Oh, hey,
I need a spear.
What's up?
I kind of lost my way here. Oh, made it. Oh shit. The smack. Oh my god, he's handsome.
Go to the door. You got it, Captain. Oh, okay, we're falling. Whee! Oh. Oh, it's Jumbo Josh, bro. It's Jumbo Josh, bro. He's real big.
Oh, that's it.
Oh, okay. Well, good to know you can get stuck there. Interested.
Alright, we can recover.
I did not know that you can get stuck there. But can you like not move?
No, I could. I was just trying to get him out.
I see. I see.
Oh. Intentional game design. Oh my god. He's terrified. What did they do to you, Josh?
That was actually good. I actually enjoyed that. Obviously, it's still bad, but for what the material was to work with, it was good.
Yeah, that's a lot
That
better
was it.
than the game.
Like I said, there's not much, but in terms of copying what they had, I feel like it was a fun little time, you know?
I can't believe you did it in a week too. It kind of puts him to shame.
Make sure to support Unique Geese on his YouTube channel, as well as the original project, Garten of Banban.
So yeah, I had a blast making this game. I went from zero knowledge in game development or Unreal to a fully playable game that you guys can download down below. Keep in mind, it's gonna be scuffed. It's gonna be buggy. Bro, I whipped this together in a week. It's hanging on by the shoelaces, dude. And again, this project wasn't meant to like one-up the Euphoric Brothers or anything. I genuinely want to see them succeed, and I hope they continue to take criticism and make their games even better. But this was just a good excuse for me to finally take some time to learn game development while also making some content for the YouTube channel, so be sure to subscribe. This took a while. Thank you again to Slushy, Seek, and Pincer for helping me with the development of this game. It was a blast working with you guys, and for now I'm pretty happy with it. But if this video does well and you guys ask enough for it, I would love to go ahead and do an update to this that expands out Chapter 1 a lot more. And also, I wouldn't mind touching a Chapter 2. Now keep in mind, if we do a Chapter 2, it's going to be completely different from Garten of Banban 2. The last thing I want to do is make it look like I'm making a free version of a paid game. And again, you should go support the official release. But I have a lot of ideas about how we could use characters that haven't been seen in the base games yet, how we could adapt the world to something a little bit more interesting in my style. I think it'd be a lot of fun. So if you guys want to see that stuff, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys want to see going forward. And thank you for watching.